This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel Scum.
Rebel Scum Podcast, episode 293. I'm Brock. This is
The Way. James.
I
right
hated that I set that up without even knowing.
You walked you held my hand and walked me into that one, and I took it.
James, we're another week into Ahsoka country. What a time to be alive. We've waited for this so long, but the answer I need to have answers. The question that needs to be answered is, what is Sabine's Lothcat's name? I was scouring it on the internet. Nobody knows. I don't think it's given a proper name. What are your thoughts?
I believe she called her Lothcat Kitty Fisto. That's what I think she called her Lothcat. Yeah, no, I don't think the Lothcat has a name. It's the Lothcat. Do you think the Lothcat has captivated the hearts of American audiences, or is the Lothcat already forgotten after 3 episodes?
Unsure, because I watched the first two episodes with my wife Reham, and she was like, "Oh, it's fun." It's like, we saw that at Fan Expo. What a time! She was like, "Wow, look at it." I was like, "It's a real puppet. What fun!"
I feel like the Lothcat kind of reminds me of Porgs in a way, where it's like if you would have told me about Lothcats like a year ago, we would have been hyped up, like they're coming, they're going to be there, and then they're in it, and you're like, well, that's fine. Like, Porgs are great and all, but they're not Ewok. Like, remember we were like, is it Porgs or Ewoks? And then you're like, oh wait, Porgs and Ewoks are nothing alike. I feel like Lothcats are closer to Porgs, and they could, like, I do think though that if they wanted to, they could milk Lothcats, and we would all go, not Baby Yoda crazy, but we could probably go crazy for Lothcats. If you give one like a strong personality, we could go crazy.
It could go there. It's dependent on how often we see this Lothcat again. So we may never go back to Lothal, maybe not until the end. So it's like, whatever. But just the thought I had, I was like, oh yeah, that's Lothcat. It's like, what's its name? Let me know. Anyways, I saw what's that place where people talk to each other?
The mall?
No.
The mall.
No, on the internet. Reddit. Someone's like, nobody knows the name, but for going forward, I will call him Visago. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick.
That's probably Dave Filoni. That was totally Dave Filoni.
I feel like Dave Filoni imitations are just going to become what the George Lucas imitation is going to be. It's like, we just really wanted to make a cool movie. It was like you just put a cowboy hat on.
Is Reham liking Ahsoka?
I think so. We watched the second episode today, so she hasn't watched the third episode. I think she likes it. I think it's like, I think when you and I watched this new episode, we were like, this show is a slow burn. It's very good, but it is a slow burn. It is in no rush to get anywhere. And having rewatched the second episode, I'm like, oh, this is why they put these two together. Because like the first two episodes feels like you kind of like need both of them. You could have, it would have been fine. Because like technically the end of first episode was like kind of a cliffhanger. But yeah, I think she is. She's down to watch it. So
I feel like Ahsoka's a weird show. I like it, but I'm just like, for general audiences who aren't like, not Rebels, diehards, or all that stuff, I'm just curious, like, because there's so much going on and it's so Star Wars that I could see people just being like, eh. And then like a lot of people, I could also be like, oh, what? It's from a cartoon, and just not care. But like, I just find it very strange. Like, apparently the viewership was high. I don't know. It seemed like they might have made up some numbers. No one really knows. You can't tell anything anyway. But like, the viewership seems to be high. I think Ahsoka was an intriguing character when she popped up in The Mandalorian. And then again in Book of Boba Fett. But I think in Mandalorian, especially, I think she really got a lot of average viewers like intrigued in who
Right.
that character is and why they're there. Because the one thing that's cool about Ahsoka is she's not human. Like, thank goodness. Like, we're like, it's someone who's not human who is a main player that we've never really had before. So it's good to see that. It's fun to see that. And she's a Jedi. After all the Jedi are gone, well, okay, sorry, I just blabbled for weird there, but like, so Jason shows up. Spoilers for this episode. So Jason shows up in this episode to very little fanfare. I said, "Where's the music?" And I'm joking. So Jason shows up, and then at the end, he's like, "Mom, I want to be a Jedi," and she's like, "Oh, you damn right, you're never gonna be one." So like, the only thing is now I'm like, because everyone brings back Empire Strikes Back. That boy's our only hope. Like, there's no Jedi left. And then in Last Jedi, it's like, Rey, you're gonna be the last Jedi. But now it's like, are there? I mean, Jason could get slaughtered by Kylo Ren or Luke or whoever, like in the temple, whatever. But like, are there like going to be a lot of Jedi in the unknown regions when the sequel trilogy comes around? Like, is this like, are they just like hanging out there somewhere? Or are they actually just going to kill all these characters off? Like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me as I watch, but as I think about it, because we have a podcast, it's like, these are weird decisions they're making because we know that there's none left.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny rewatching the second episode. There's literally a point. Is it in the second episode? No, it's the third episode where Morgan, Lisbeth. I watched both today. Morgan, the villain, Elsbeth is like, I'm trying to remember the names too, because it's just like, what is Ray Stevenson's name? And it's just you remember.
Balin Skull.
Yeah, that wasn't an actual question I needed answering, but but you know what I mean. Like, we're in that territory where we have to start remembering these new names. But anyways, she's like, we have to get rid of Ahsoka, and he's like, but there's so few Jedi left. I love that line. It's like, there's so few of us left. It's like, it seems like a lot. It's like, oh, you're showing emotions. Like, I'm just making it a truth. So it's like, I like that they make that statement also, because it's like, you're like, so yeah, we know Ray Stevenson and the girl
Shinhati,
thank you, are like working for the bad guys, but we still don't know their motives. Like, it's like our Inquisitor guy, what's his name?
Morak. Oh, our top 5 today is gonna have some fun with Morak.
Perfect. But it's like, you're like, okay, he seems like a villain. You can't see his face, probably for a really good reason, but like, it's like, we don't know. So it's like, I feel like Filoni's almost addressing this point. It's like, well, what are we going to do? Because it's like, this isn't 30 years ago where like nobody wanted to make Star Wars for whatever reason. Like, where George Lucas wasn't, they're like, Return of the Jedi ends and they're like, this was an amazing movie. Let's make more. And then nothing happens for 15, 20 years? Like, you know what I mean?
It's funny it's funny how we look at it like that now, but back then that was the norm. Like, things weren't made back then, right?
Yeah.
There weren't these cinematic universes. There wasn't streaming TV shows were a way lesser medium back then, except for MASH.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't like things didn't continue on. It was kind of, it's weird how it's evolved into what it is now. And you imagine if Star Wars started, if like entertainment like this was how it was 4 plus years ago when he made Star Wars. Like, imagine how much different Star Wars would be right now with us talking about it. Kit Fisto would probably be the main protagonist in something. But you know what I mean? Like it's funny. Like, yeah, he just stopped it and didn't make it anymore. But nowadays, it's like, how you can't even think about why someone would do something like that.
Yeah, because he was ahead of the game, and just in the strictly in the vein of like, here's my IP, let's make toys and shirts and whatever. So it's like he was like ahead of the game on that. Just no one took it seriously. But it's just like, it is an interesting comment. It's like, well, what's happening? Because it's like, there's so few Jedi, but they're like, but Luke exists. Like, they could easily not know who Luke is, but it's like, like, I can't wait to learn more about Ray Stevenson's character And I want to know that storyline is like the most engaging to me right now because I'm just like, this is very interesting. This is like they're villains, but they're not villains. I can't really decide what's going on. So it's like I think like by the end of the series we'll have a interesting vibe on Jedi. I don't know if this is what the internet is talking about because every time I'm looking for stories, it's always like, this is how they retcon this and that and this and that. And I'm like, and I don't read any of them because it's just like it's all hypothetical, whatever.
I'm with you. I find those two. I found them intriguing before we even got the show. Just like when you're like, oh, mercenaries, former Jedi,
exactly.
What's going on here? Like that is very intriguing.
Yeah.
And I know Ray Stevenson passed, but I hope they finish up that arc, even if they don't this season. Like I hope it goes forward next season with however you do that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it finishes off. I don't know. This in season 1, we haven't seen it, so we don't know. But I'd really love to learn more. You bring up a good point. Like Luke is out there, and at this point in time, he's probably out with Lando doing like searching for stuff. Like at what point? Because at what point does he become like the big myth that we get in the sequel trilogy? That's something that I don't know. There's been rumors that they're not going to use Luke Skywalker anymore for this and that. And Mark Hamill, I think, said he's basically retired from the role, whatever. I mean, you don't need Mark Hamill to play young Luke Skywalker anymore. You just need that standing guy and some CG and synth his voice in. Like, oh, wait, that's why they're on strike. But like, so, but at some point, like, it would be nice to see why he became this, why he became this myth. Because I think I've said this before, like, my viewpoint's always been kind of like, he didn't really care if anyone knew it was him. And for me, I never really thought he was a hero. Like, he was our hero, but he wasn't a hero within the galaxy. And so, is it like all the events that people just started talking? How did they understand? Like, I wouldn't mind seeing something play out where Luke has to be at the forefront for some reason. And you're like, oh, that's why he's the myth. And then when you have that, everyone kind of tells, oh yeah, but also this happened and this happened and this happened. And then you go down that chain of events, and it's kind of like the Bible.
Yeah, but it's like it's interesting. Like like that. I know we should be talking about episode 3, but in the second episode where Morgan gets the orb and it opens the massive map because everything has to be a massive map in Star Wars.
Yes,
but it's just like
that map is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's sick. But it's just like, here's our galaxy and here's where we're going to another galaxy. It's like, of course, it's like now we can go to a whole part that has never been touched and we can do whatever we want. So as you can see that they're setting that up. But in this episode, I like that it was shorter. It was kind of nice. I enjoyed the opening scene where Sabine is training with Hu Yang with like the Jedi, like lightsaber things, which like I know we've seen in things, but like this is nice to see it like forefront. Like it's just like, look, it's like there's something to this instead of swinging like plastic swords around like it. So I like that, and I like that how it's like they're like, she's trying to be a Jedi, but she's not really a Jedi. I do enjoy that they're trying that out.
I think it was funny. I was talking to Rob, and he didn't like that training sequence.
Why?
He also mentioned that I didn't get into it, but he also said that he hasn't seen all of Rebels too. So I was like, interesting that you haven't seen all of Rebels. So I don't know. I like the training sequence. I was like, oh, they're doing the Luke Skywalker thing. Like that's kind of what I thought was happening when we first got it. And then obviously they shifted gears a little bit. It was basically the same thing, but a different approach to it. And I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'm with you. You know me. I like short episodes. There was one point where halfway through like the dog fight, I was like, oh, this is going to be the episode. We're not like this is it. Like it's not getting beyond this fight. Like this is it. This is the whole episode. And then when it ended, I was like, I felt okay with it. Like it felt kind of complete, but I was also like, yeah, this probably could just be a movie or binge watch again. Like it's like, because it was so short, there wasn't too much going on there. What did they learn? They learned that the ring was going to be the hyperdrive to get them to the unknown regions, right? Like that's what they kind of learned.
Yeah.
So it was like, so yeah, I mean, I really liked it though. I like the shorter ones. I'm all I still feel like it's still like 10 minutes longer than Rebels was, and I think those 10 minutes are used perfectly. Whereas Rebels, they could have used a lot, not all of them, but some episodes really could have used an extra 10 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
And they're using it. And again, like I see people complain that it's too short, but other than the next episode, what else are you going to do in this episode? Like, what else are you going to do? So either you have an 8-episode season or a 4-episode season, because I'm not sure, like, what if you start adding things to these episodes, then it's just filler, and we're complaining that there's filler in the episodes, and it's not about anything. And Purgles are amazing, Brock. Purgles in live action, bring them. I don't know. I think they should do special editions of the sequels and put them in every single one of the sequel trilogy movies. And in Rogue One at the end, when the Tantive flies off at the end, like takes off with a Purgle should like slowly go behind it. And you're like, that's what I believe. Lucasfilm called me up with more ideas on how to utilize Purgles in completed works.
It's like how like a owl follows around Ahsoka, and like the Purgles will follow around Ezra. That was cool, and I'm glad they didn't wait on that, because it's like we've already gotten a hint of it in Mandalorian, so it's like
they've really been like cluing in on Purgles are there.
Yeah, so it's just like it's amazing just to see Filoni's just like, I came up with an idea and I'm going to use it. I made this thing. Sorry, my microphone's cutting out a bit, but I'm working on it. Anyways, no, it was cool. I'm actually excited to watch that episode with Reham and see her reaction to it, because it's like she'll be like, "What's this?" I'm actually trying to think of like maybe I can show her that scene without her knowing I'm gonna show her that scene to be like, "Do you remember the shadow?" Yeah. I remember you texting me if there was anything about the High Republic.
Yeah.
With the things, and rewatching again, I didn't think about it when I was watching it, but no, like it's like Purgles aren't. They're like
no. I was thinking the hyperlanes they were talking
about. Hyperlanes,
yeah.
Yeah. No, not really, because like when they're building that, I guess it's called the Eye of Sion, or I think they said they called it. Now apparently, like all that mention of like another galaxy and like using a hyperdrive ring or whatever to get to another galaxy is straight out of Heir of the Empire. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do. They're like, there was a dark Jedi that was like, didn't believe in the Order anymore and was building this thing, and Thrawn's working. So it's like, I'm curious if people will think less of or like the hardcore fans that know this storyline will be like, oh, like Filoni seems to be like just cheaping out. It's like, oh, I have this storyline, I'll just change the characters, I don't need to put that guy that was in there, and there's like whatever. But apparently like the idea of like using many hyperdrives all at once to go a far distance has already been figured out. But anyways, like that ring thing did remind me of like the prequels when like like Obi-Wan would go in his small ship, and they would have to do that to go to hyperdrive. Like outside of that though, not High Republic's not, they don't, I'm sure they have it in there, but like it's not a big mention. It's just like we just don't know where we're going when we're going on.
I was just thinking because they make that mention, like they used to use Hyperlane drives to get in. And I know you mentioned in the High Republic that they talk about Hyperlane drives, or that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering about that because I haven't read them still, because I don't like Star Wars, but I've read all the new Star Trek books.
Told Side Akbar, I have like read one of the newer ones recently, and it's like it's a slow build, but man, it gets good. And it's just like there's some really good stories coming out of this era that they could use. So it's like I think they should consider. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. Acolyte doesn't exist till we see a trailer and a premiere date. Mangold's thing does not exist till we see a trailer. So
that one doesn't exist until I'm in the theater.
Yeah, absolutely. But absolutely. But yeah, no, it was a good episode. I feel like it was a lot of good Ahsoka and Sabine back and forth. Yeah, like the Jason Sindula is like, here it is. It was just a Lego figure. Like, get over it. Like, he doesn't even look like the Lego figure.
No, of course not.
He had the green hair. I'm like,
Of
all
course
right.
he had the green hair. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he was there. He might also have been there to show that Hera has a son who
right,
looks
right,
up to the Jedi Order, just for people who didn't know, right? Like, I don't know if the character will come back.
Yeah,
maybe we don't know. Because one thing though, watching it, I like, and comparing it to Rebels, when I was talking to somebody, I think like the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka take place at the end of the series finale of Rebels, but before the end of the epilogue of that finale. Remember when Sabine does like that voiceover? I think that those first 2 episodes take place before or during that voiceover, and then now we're after the voiceover part. So I think they're in like, I think Filoni did what he did to give backstory for people who hadn't seen it before, and then create some tension between Ahsoka and Sabine to show that they had some growth between them. I think that was more, not the episodes themselves, but the dynamic was more for people who haven't seen Rebels, to be like, hey, these are characters, they exist, they've known each other for some time. We won't pretend that you don't know. We won't pretend that you've seen Rebels, but if you have, you don't really need this. You'll just hopefully enjoy it.
Right. What was I gonna say? Oh, going back to your question, just like, does Reham like this show? I'm like, she likes Chopper. she definitely likes Chopper. I was like, oh,
I hope we get more Chop.
Oh yeah, that was great. Is Filoni voicing him still? He must be, right?
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't do everything he's doing and then get someone else to voice Chopper.
Yeah, like Reham was like, is he actually talking? It's like, because like sometimes it's like, like when that, like when Hera's talking to Chopper, the question will be like an answer, like, what is a good answer to what she said? So it's like, what? It's like, wait, what? I'm like, no, I mean, yeah, he probably did, but like, what? I'm like, sometimes he laughs and you can tell.
He looks great in live action, though.
Yeah, it's perfect.
He looks really good. I think they all do. Somebody else complained. I've seen online people complain that the costumes, like, they look too clean. And here's, you know what, they do look clean, but I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think it goes back to the prequels. The prequels are also very clean, and we're in this time period now where things are very clean. The worlds aren't, because they haven't cleaned them all up yet, but the costumes of the New Republic and everything, they're very clean, because this is what they want to. This is what they want it to be. This is the new look for the galaxy that they're operating. So that's how I take it with the prequels, where the Emperor hadn't destroyed it yet. So everything was nice and clean, nicely polished. But now the worlds aren't, but the costumes are, and that's I want to believe that's the mentality of it.
I think you're correct. Like, I think actually Lothal like looks like 10 times better, even though it still looks like what it looks like. But like, Lothal feels bright and shiny and like warm. Like in the show, it's always sort of dark because they're always there at nighttime, and like there's no. Like the Imperial presence is always like there's a metallic feel to it. There's even like a dustiness to that place, but it's like it's not the same. It feels like Lothal from the show, but it's like, or like it looks like Lothal, I should say, but it feels different. So that's like actually a really good point. And quite frankly, like, what are you talking about? The characters all wore bright colors. Like like Ezra wore like orange jumpsuit, so did Hera, and like Zeb was purple. Sabine was like multicolored. Like, it's like outside of like Kanan, it's like Chopper's orange. Like, it's just like they're bright colored. It's like, but I think that's a good point. Like, like Hera has a new jacket, so it's like perfect.
I think the casting's all been pretty good so far. I haven't seen any drawbacks. I love the, what I did love at the end of the training when Ahsoka grabbed the mug and she pulled it forward with the Force, and then Sabine was trying it. Obviously, Sabine's going to move that mug by the end of the season, but I thought that was a nice little. It felt Star Wars. It felt classic. I'm like, it's very simple. There was nothing over the top about it. It was very simple and laid back. And I think a lot of Star Wars, I think Mandalorian season 1, that's what people really appreciated about it was, I mean, it wasn't simple. It was a puppet, but it was still like fairly kind of simple and low key. And I think Star Wars really benefits from that a lot. And for me, I thought, I mean, nobody liked it but me, but Book of Boba Fett, like that was it the first episode where there was like no talking for like 25 minutes. I'm like, this takes me back to A New Hope when it's two droids roaming a desert for like a half hour and they don't say anything. And it's just a John Williams music and like the camera focus is in, like you can't catch the focus because it's so damn bright on 3PO. Like it's just, I don't know. I just like those moments in Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like it's just, yeah. I rewatched The Crawl in the first episode, and I'm like, this looks so cool. And it's like it's not on an angle; it's just like
it's just straight up.
I'm like,
you are reading a textbook,
and it's like, another thing about this episode that was so Filoni was like characters walking around in space. Like I feel like outside of like Last Jedi, where Leia becomes Space Mary Poppins, it's like. Nobody goes out into space. Like the closest thing is like Han going out with a breather in the asteroid worm, like it's like that scene where like it's just like that's like really showing how we can do whatever we want with these characters, like technically wise, technologically wise, you can make them spin around and it looks like they're in 0G, but then like it's just like, why they're on starships? Like, why wouldn't they have like some way of going out on and like being fully comfortable?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it's just like that's so like there's a whole episode of Clone Wars where like who's the one that found Ahsoka?
Plo
Koon. There's a whole episode with 3 clones and Plo Koon like just being out like marooned in space. I'm like, why not?
She did get changed pretty fast. It was kind of like it was like, I got a plan. Oh, you changed. And then when she came back in, she was still wearing her outdoor clothes. I said, wait a minute. Does it take longer to take it off to put it on? I can't figure this out. Time matters not.
That's true. It's like it's a full jumpsuit. Like that's the best part.
I know. Like she put a lot on there. It took no time off. I thought it was I enjoyed the episode. I thought enough happened in it to say. But again, I also think when I say binge episodes now, when I watch things, I'm like, I think we're just, especially when it comes to streaming, we're just conditioned because of Netflix to binge. Like, and that's what it is. And that's because when the first viewerships came out, it appeared low. I guess they changed. I don't know what happened, but I don't really care. But I was just like, maybe people, because I believe Mandalorian season 3 was low. And then at the end, it was very high. I'm like, are people just waiting and then watching them all at once? Because the thing is, if you have Disney Plus, you're paying for Disney Plus today, which means you probably paid for it for the year. So you paid for it for the year, and this is coming out now, and you're not doing a podcast weekly. You're like, well, like my parents, they're going to just watch it all when it's they wait, and they don't watch it all in one day. They watch it over like 4 or 5 days, whatever it is.
Right.
But they're just going, and I feel like a lot of people have that mentality now, where they're like, why would I watch it weekly when I can watch it at my own pace? And especially a show like this, like you just said, like Filoni dropping his space whales, but he drops little nuggets there that if you're not really in tune to it or you're not paying attention, it probably plays out better when you watch it all at once, other than having, remember that thing 4 episodes ago? Right. No, and I skipped the previously on because I didn't want to watch. Like, I think it might play better for a lot of people if they binge it as well. But that's me. I'm into weekly. I'm still watching it weekly.
Yeah, no. And it's like, I was still shocked that it came out on Tuesday. I was like, what?
Because I messaged you, like, what do you mean?
Yeah. I kind of like, I don't hate the idea. It's like, we probably won't do it, but it's like, we could watch it Tuesday night and do the podcast immediately after.
We could do the podcast while we watch it.
And
do the podcast.
It's kind of nice. It is actually kind of nice. I don't hate it,
I much prefer, because I like 3:03 a.m. everything gets like, and again, it's just it's because the West Coast, those jerks, but like they get it at midnight. Midnight, it's a lot more feasible to stay up to midnight to watch something for 35 minutes than 3 in the morning. So it's like, and you can't fault them. They get it, they watch it, they spoil it, right? And I'm sure people in Europe right now are like, those jerks are getting it at their time, and it's 3 a.m. my time. And then we go on and we spoil it right away. So I don't really like to do spoilers until like a few days later, at least online.
Yeah.
But I like these. I mean, it's 9 p.m. for us. I like it. Do it. Why not? Why not? Like, just
Absolutely.
it. I told you last week, like right before it came out, I'm like, man, I do not want to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch these damn shows. Like, I'm just like, I just don't want to. Because the thing is, like, I know you do, but like, you wake up to watch it, I'm still tired.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I can, or Aaron wants to watch it. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. And then, so I'm just waiting. It just gets tiring at 9 p.m. And you know what? If I don't watch it that night, that's on me. But I have the whole next day to watch it as well. So I like 9 o'clock. Keep it up.
Yeah, it was nice. It's it's a nice return to form. And it's just like, say whatever you want about binge watching. It's like, until HBO stops doing what they do, like until they stop having a physical channel where like Game of Thrones or whatever the hot show is drops at 9 o'clock. Is Succession HBO? Yes, right.
I believe so, yeah.
Like, so they're not stopping anytime soon. It's like they're always be that episodic or weekly.
But again, that's the difference. Though, is that's on your TV, whereas the other, or on your cable box, whereas the other ones are streaming. And I think it's the streaming mentality that people have. I think if Disney put this on ABC, people would be a lot more like, whatever, it's a weekly show. This is just a mentality thing. That's all I think it is. I think it's just we're conditioned. But like
their streaming still gets at the exact same time as like the physical channel. You can watch it whenever, but like I don't know, it's just like it'll still exist, and like not because the thing doesn't occur still because the channel exists. It still happens because people want to watch it immediately, right? Like Game of Thrones has a huge following. Succession has a huge following. I don't know. People talk about Succession, but when are they watching it? I'm not sure. I just know with Game of Thrones' experience is like interesting. So,
well, that's the point. The good point that you're making is Game of Thrones is on Sunday night, 9 o'clock, whenever it's on. But it's like The Last of Us. It's like Sunday night, 9 o'clock. This is on, and now Ahsoka Tuesday 9 o'clock. It's on. Exactly. Whereas when it's streaming, there's no buzz around it. This is a different point, but there's no buzz around. It's like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
No. Like, it's not like we're all getting together at the same time to watch it. Like, now we can all get together at the same time and watch the show, talk about it at the same time. And I don't know. I think that's stronger than anything else that I've said. I just think putting it on at a time, like having a time that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I know you want to like 3 right at midnight. We want to have it. Why? Who cares? Like when a movie comes out in the theater on Friday, July 21st, it wasn't at midnight. I mean, there were midnight shows, but it was, like usually it's the day after, used to be in the 80s, the day after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that's the showtime. You just have to sit and wait.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even go to midnight anymore.
Your mic is,
did you lose me?
Well, you're still kind of there, but you're very low. No more midnight screening. It's 8 p.m. screening.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's done. Anyways, my mic is. I think my audio board is officially.
No, the memories. All right, let's go to the odds.
All right, do the thing while I change my microphone.
All right, never tell me the odds. Brought to us by. I don't have the clip, but it's brought to us by. I put the wrong guy on the screen. For those watching, it's supposed to be me on the screen, but instead it's Brock. Let me get Brock out of here. And now it's my face. I completely removed Brock from the stream. This is Brock. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to go through the Patreon names alone. Okay, that's not a thumbs up. You're nodding, but I'm going to do them anyway. Can you hear me, Brock? Brock, you there? Brock is on the screen. Hi. All right, Patreon. Thank you so much for all of your support. Never Tell Me the Odds is brought to us by Patreon. Brock, you want to start it off? This is flawless. All right, Never Tell Me the Odds is brought to us by Patreon. No, there's no audio coming out on your end. There's no audio, Brock.
I'm muted. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
You gotta give me like more than 30 seconds to put on a headset. Oh my god.
Well, you were nodding your head like this. I was like, oh, okay.
Hold on. Anyways, never tell me the odds brought to you by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you support us and help us in any way you want? Just go to patreon.com/rebelscumpodcast and just support us, because sometimes our mics work, sometimes they don't. Who can say? But the wonderful people that think we're the best are the following: Heidi Feder, executive producer; Barry Brophy; Dennis Allen; Randy Kenobi; Mary Kristen Aton; Jeff Wilson; Phil Staniforth; Rez; Scott D; Josh Price;
Matt W., Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Denna Nerds, and Dale Erdman.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate all of your support. I've got a cat at my feet. This is how we go. Today's odds are amazing. They're Ahsoka. Will Jason be trained as a Jedi? Brock, never tell me the odds. Will Jason be trained as a Jedi?
I feel like keep that in your back pocket, but like not in this series, unless for like he becomes something big in a couple episodes. I don't see it. It should be way too confusing. So I'm gonna go 20%.
I'm gonna go like 4% on this season, but I'm also thinking like Filoni's got his movie. Who knows if there'll be multiple movies? Who knows where he's going beyond those movies? Jason, like you said, is a character to keep in your back pocket because he's young now. This is a character that can grow and can be tempted with the dark side and has Kanan in him. Like there's a lot that can go on there. So yeah, I'm gonna go 4% on this season, and I'm gonna go full Brock on in general. Next odd, will Morgan kill Balin?
I'm gonna go full Brock on this because I don't know what Morgan is capable of. She's just a person that's in the Shadow Council. I know she's a witch, but she hasn't done anything. She's a witch. She has a face tattoo.
Have you not seen The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Witches are problematic.
Witch. The Wicked Witch.
I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to go Bob Barker, rest in peace, 51%. 51%, because I think that would be intriguing to have Morgan kill Balin, and then you have Shin Hati, who doesn't clearly like Morgan or respect Morgan all that much, kind of have to deal with her in some capacity. So 51% for me. We will not return to the tapes to see how wrong I am. And the final odd today, Ezra is still a good guy. There's a lot of speculation that that Thrawn might have seduced him in some capacity. Maybe he's Morok, but Brock, is Ezra Bridger still a good guy? Side Akbar Brock, I started watching The Flash yesterday. 2/3 into it, enjoying it. Some of the CG is very wonky, like I heard. Like, I was like, what? But then this is what gets me, is some of it I'm like, that is so terrible. And some of it, like every time there's two berries on the screen, it's I forget that it's the same person.
Yeah,
like it's flawless. I'm like, how is that so perfect? And this looks terrible. I can't figure it out.
But like,
I'm gonna finish it tonight.
What are people complaining about? Like when he's in the Speed Force? Because I think that's intentionally supposed to look shitty. Like
I think, but the babies look terrible at the beginning. Like the babies were pretty bad.
See, that's the one thing I forgot to tell you. I missed the first 10 minutes of The Flash because we were late, so I didn't see. There's all this mention of babies and Wonder Woman. I'm like. Yeah.
Okay, so So he goes on a mission with Batman. Alfred's there. It's Jeremy Irons is Alfred. And he's hey, go do this. So he goes and has to do something. And there's all these babies in like a ward of a hospital, and the hospital falls, and all the babies fall out the window. And it just looks like Baby Herman like everywhere. It's the dancing baby from Ally McBeal. It's just like, it just looks so bad. But yeah, when there's two berries side by side, I'm like, oh my God, that's fake. That's not real. Why does it look so good? So anyway, never tell me the odds. Ezra Bridger is a good guy.
I'm gonna go 80%.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be a real like kick in the pants. Like it's just like haha, and there's not that many episodes.
I'm going to go 83% because I don't know. It's the same as, remember when, well, it's not the same. It's not even close. But remember when people were like, I think Luke is a bad guy when The Force Awakens came out? And it's like, why? Why? You can't just take him and make him a bad guy. Like, it's so stupid. So I don't know. I just feel like, why would you make Ezra? He could not be like as clear-minded as he was when you last left him, because he's been gone for who knows how long. With Ron out there, who knows where his mind's at. But yeah, I 83%. I don't know why you just make him a bad guy for the sake of and then like we already had the Sabine Ahsoka thing. I don't need more about them. You're a good guy, Ezra. And he's not known enough to the casual fans for it to have any impact, whether he turns or not. So that's what I'm going. I mean, they really have mentioned him a lot though. So maybe that's the point. All right, you got the news?
I got the news.
Here we go to Hollow News. Da 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 Hollow News. Da 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 Hollow. That was my cat. Did you hear my cat?
Yeah.
She's like, stop singing. Stop singing. Hollow News. Hollow. Okay, I'm out. Bye.
All news, the news you need to know right now for all Star Wars book fans. From a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi edition has been released, and it has a story solely around the Sarlacc. In a story appropriately titled My Mouth Never Closes by Charlie Jane Anders, we learn the creature located within Tatooine's Dune Sea doesn't actually originate from the desert planet. In fact, it explained that these Sarlaccs are in fact a migratory. They use "in fact" twice in that sentence. The Sarlaccs are a migratory species drifting through space until they find a planet to call home. Jabba's pet and weapon originated as little more than a spore of the cosmos, eventually growing and landing on Tatooine, where it burrowed into the sand and stayed there for thousands of years with its open mouth, a means of supplying feeding on the creatures that inadvertently fell in. Return of the Jedi Sarlacc has its own thoughts and feelings, and it is initially happy to land on this lush world. Of course, as the years pass, it becomes the barren wasteland we're so familiar with, lending something of a tragic feel to the creature's story, seeing as it ended up stuck there. So if that sounds fun and cool, you want to go get a copy of, from a certain point of view, The Return of the Jedi, and check out that story. Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company are announcing this week that Part 1 of Ahsoka, Episode 1, Master and Apprentice, was the most watched title on Disney Plus this past week. Not in time, just this past week. It got a lot of views. The debut episode garnered 14 million views, making the series #1 globally on the streaming platform. Ahsoka has become a fan favorite with people of all ages, and it's wonderful to see her continue to resonate with viewers in her own headlining series, says Kathleen Kennedy as she was fired. I want to recognize the fantastic work by our creative team of Filoni and Favreau, terrible cast of Rosario Dawson, and the talented crew that works along with them. And we give thanks to our fans who have been with Ahsoka on every step of her journey, to all those who are learning about her on Ahsoka on Disney Plus. So that's fun. 14 million views. We talked about this earlier. We don't know if that's how accurate or relevant those numbers are anymore, but that's pretty cool. And in final news, we're going to talk about T-Swift Era Tour. Apparently, tickets went on sale on Thursday for Taylor Swift the Era Tour, a nearly 3-hour concert film based on the artist's most recent tour. It is reportedly sold about $370 million in tickets. On the first day for the first 3 biggest theater chains. So this isn't the actual concerts that are already happening. This is them showing the Eras concert at theaters, specifically in the States, AMC, Regal, and Cinemark. $37 million in tickets already sold. That's almost double what Star Wars The Force Awakens sold on its first day, but not quite as much as Avengers Endgame on its first day. The Force Awakens sold about 20 million tickets on the first day to a 250 million opening weekend, still record-holding 936 million domestic total, while Avengers Endgame sold 50 million on its first day, leading to a record 357 million opening weekend and 858 million overall. However, despite having day one sales between those behemoths, the trade is only projecting a 70 million opening weekend for the Eras Tour, which makes sense. It's a concert, but it's also Taylor Swift. But anyways, that's crazy. Taylor Swift has officially outsold Force Awakens in first day boxing. And this has been your Hollow News.
I was just going to say, like, DC wishes they had a 70 million opening.
Yeah.
like, man, put Taylor Swift in Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is Barry Allen. That's like Taylor Swift fans, man.
Oh yeah,
crazy. Just like whatever. Like that's awesome. Good. She was like, "There's a strike. let me show you strike. This is how you make
Yeah.
money. Taylor Swift concerts in there. That's just like,
Genius.
unbelievable. All right, top 5.
Top
Top 5 Taylor Swift songs.
5. Shake
I
it
don't know
off.
I don't know if I can name 5. Fun fact about me. I'm
Shake
sure
it off.
I've heard 5 songs.
Bad
Shake
Blood.
It Off. Sure.
Uh,
Do you know what song I just heard for the first time like 2 weeks ago?
What?
Because I have a daughter. We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Oh!
So here's the thing, because I know you had to watch Encanto like 500 million times. I didn't have any kids around that watched it like around. So I knew Frozen, Let It Go, and then I heard that Bruno song like was bigger than Let It Go, and I was like, oh, that's crazy because I've never heard the Bruno song, but I hear Let It Go still to this day. So I'm like, this is weird, whatever. And then we're hanging out, we're listening to Disney music with Selena, and I sit there, I'm like, I've never heard the Bruno song because the song came on from a Disney movie, but I hadn't heard it or I didn't know it. Like, I've never heard the Bruno song. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I haven't heard it. She goes, yes, you have. I'm like, I definitely haven't. She goes, but it comes on all the time. I'm like, not when I'm here. I've never heard this song. I don't know. I couldn't. I'm a bar, like nothing. And then she goes, Alexa, play. So I played it. And I was like, yeah, I never heard it. 2 things struck me. One, I'm really old. I didn't get it. I haven't seen the movie, so maybe that's why. But it didn't seem like as catchy as like Let It Go. Like it didn't seem as strong a song as Let It Go. It just felt like a song that was in a movie that you would like in the movie more than Let It Go was like you're gonna be you know what I mean? Like
No.
I didn't really care for it. I was like it was like a weak song and I didn't care for it. I'm like,
sure, man.
It's definitely one that when it came out, and like, it would be like a next. It would be a next. Like, just play the Lion King. Let's just go with the classics. Like it just, I was like, it really was like I thought the "You're Welcome" by The Rock was a better song than the Bruno song. I'm like, that's just not the.
I mean, they're all basically written by the same guy, so it's like
yeah, and not everybody has hits. I don't know. It's just weird that that's the song that took off because I'm like, it's not. It didn't even feel catchy to me. I'm like, I don't know. It seemed like weak sauce.
I think with that one, it's like an ensemble song, so it's like "Let It Go" is Idina Menzel singing, so it's like she's a Broadway
ballad.
singer. She's a ballad, right? It's the equivalent of listening to Celine Dion sing something. We Don't Talk About Bruno is an ensemble thing where it's just like there's a lot of highs and lows, and it's more of a story. While
yeah, I think it probably works in the movie, but on its own, it's like unless you've seen the movie, I just feel like if you hear it as a song without knowing the context of the song, it just isn't as strong. As
but like Frozen is the same. It's like people didn't really know about it till they saw it, right? So it's
no, but the song works without the movie, is what I'm saying. Whereas the other one, the context of the Bruno song probably makes the Bruno song stronger than.
I suppose it's written like a Broadway show, right? It's written like Hamilton. That's what it is, like. So, because it's Lin-Manuel. So
didn't enjoy the Bruno song. Sorry, guys. Sorry, hard pass. Also, there's a song on the Barbie soundtrack that I thought was the Katy Perry "Skip the Dishes" song.
What's the "Skip the Dishes" song?
It's not the song from Barbie, but I thought they were the same. I don't know. She has like 5 "Skip the Dishes" songs that sound like the top 5 characters that shouldn't be Morak, but will be.
What?
For sure. Top 5 characters that shouldn't be Morak, but will be. Because the rumor is that he's going to reveal his mask will be taken off this week. Probably going to die. Let's be honest. We're going to die. Probably gets beheaded. Top 5 characters that the most ridiculous theories of that we could come up with for it. My number 5 is Morak is Lando. It's just a way for Lando to get more artifacts.
My number 5 is Emperor Palpatine. It's like we can't kill you.
it's like one of the Snoke Palpatines that didn't quite make it.
Yeah, but
he has Ian McDermott's face, like perfect face.
Yeah.
Number 4, Dexter.
My number 4 is gonna be Anakin. That's right, not Vader. Anakin.
Well, yeah, Anakin was in a trailer, so this is probably why. My number 3, Saw Gerrera. This is how he really gets in deep. He becomes Morak.
My number 3 is going to be Kanan.
Actually, Rob McDonald texted me saying, "Do you think it's Kanan?" And I said, "Stop texting me." I think that's ridiculous. Works for this list.
Yeah.
My number 2, and this one, okay, so this is supposed to be outlandish. This one probably is going to be who Morak is, and that's Zam Wessel. Zam Wessel.
My number 2 is going to be Hondo Inaka.
Oh, why is Hondo not on my list? That is, oh my God. Could you imagine Hondo showing up?
Yeah.
And my number 1 is obviously, this is the obvious number 1. It's a Dave Filoni show. So you get his favorite character, and that's Plo Koon. Plo Koon is Morak.
I'm just going to say Ezra. Because I'm like, if we're going to do that kind of reveal, that would be interesting. But I don't know. That doesn't even make sense.
That's the biggest rumor,
course.
theory floating around, is that it's Ezra. I think that's just people wanting to believe. Again, like, why would he be, of all the things for him to be, why would he be more like, how did he escape where Thrawn is and Thrawn can't escape? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But that, it works for this list perfectly. Those are our top 5. Let us know what your top 5 are in the comments below.
Yeah.
That's our 293. In 7 weeks, Brock, we'll be at 3 Hondo. 3 Hondo.
Wow.
3 Hondo. We should get Jim Cummings on.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I mean, if there's a strike, he couldn't anyway if he wanted. But, well, he could. He'd have to talk about, like, bananas and, like,
pajamas.
Cheese puffs or something. Yeah. Stop. I don't know what's going on. All right, that's 293 episodes. Anything else you want to say, Brock?
No, I don't think so. Thank you to Fan Expo for letting us come, and that was cool. You saw the stuff on the Instagram. We're gonna try to do more shit like that, but I can't wait till episode 4 of Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano coming at you. Yeah, I don't watch the trailer. Do you watch the commercial, the trailers for the upcoming episodes?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I stay away from those. I'm like, I'll see it when I see it. I was like, plus, if it's like a 3-minute trailer and the episode's 30 minutes, that's that's a big percentage of what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not into it. All right, everyone, this has been a lot of fun. Give us a like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest